Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. My name is Marc Freedman.
And I'm Marion Gilman.
And we're here to provide you with some financial advice in a language you can understand. The past couple of weeks, you've been here with Christian doing the podcast.
Yeah, I know. You've been on vacation.
So I did.
So how was it?
It was great. We went to Japan for almost 2 weeks. It was quite the experience. It was very hot. I think I would recommend that everybody have a chance to go to Japan. I just wouldn't recommend that you go in July. It was very hot, very humid, and there's a lot of walking. We did about 15,000 steps a day at least.
And everything's outdoors, right?
Everything is.
Yes.
And when a lot of the stuff that you see in Japan is you're going to see some of these temples and shrines and all these places, and generally they're set up on hills. And the stairs are not very even.
Yep.
Some of them are very
steep.
Yeah. It was a challenge, but we made it through.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing that you saw or did or whatever? Did you have a favorite?
You know, there's a lot of things that were really, really cool that we saw. I've got to say, just the structure of the way Japan operates, the cleanliness is insane. And what's really amazing to me is you walk the streets of whether it's Kyoto or Tokyo or anywhere, try to find a trash barrel. They're nowhere to be found.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
And
yet it is super clean.
You don't see any
You're
litter.
expected to take your trash with you. The only place you'll find trash barrels is sometimes you'll find them around the subway station. Of course, you'll find them in a takeout restaurant. You'll find them in bathrooms. But you will not find trash barrels anywhere on the streets of Japan. And the reason for that, I learned, was that I think it was back in either 1995 or 2005, there was a sarin gas issue where they were dropping bags or packages of sarin gas in trash cans. And it was basically as a terrorist attack. And so Japan said no more. So you will carry your trash. So yes, people carry trash.
What amazes me is the people actually do it.
Oh.
You know, nobody goes against the rules.
Yeah, not only does everybody do it, when you see some trash on the ground, people just stop and pick it up. It was pretty wild.
Amazing.
And they pull out their little bag and they stick it in there and get rid of it eventually.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's really cool, though, I was not a fan of the food. I'll be very honest. I was not a fan of a lot of the food.
It's different.
It is very different. Some of it I didn't mind, but if you think you're going to see a teppanyaki show every night, like you do here in America, where they're dancing with the knives, that doesn't exist. They don't even know what the heck that is. That's not going to happen. Yes, there was sushi, but plenty of other things as well.
Right.
If you want to eat, my favorite place to go, 7-Eleven.
The 7-Elevens are amazing. They have amazing stuff. And, you know, they make that food every day, several times a day.
Absolutely.
Unlike here. Sandwiches. Pre-made sandwiches, right? Did you have it?
My favorite thing every day was to swing by 7-Eleven and get an egg salad sandwich.
They are supposed to be the best.
It's one of the most popular sandwiches.
Yes.
Now, it's sandwiches. There's no crust on it. They've already cut off the crust. And like $1.30 for a sandwich, for an egg salad sandwich. But the thing that you can make there that was really cool in the 7-Elevens is a smoothie. Now, you make it yourself. What you do is you go into this freezer cabinet, and there's a cup, like a 10-ounce cup, and it has frozen fruit in the cup. It's just kind of floating in there, frozen fruit. And you bring it over to this machine, and the door closes on the machine. You hit a button, some water or something goes into the cup, and then a blender goes in and mixes this thing up. And when it's all done, it pushes it back out, and now you have your own smoothie that is made purely of fresh fruit.
It must be incredibly refreshing, too,
on
one of those hot days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if you want to buy iced coffee at 7-Eleven, they have coffee machines where you fill up your own coffee. But they don't do iced coffee there. You buy a cup that is already coming out of the freezer with ice in it.
Oh my God.
And you bring it over to the coffee machine and said, hey, I'm having iced coffee. So they fill it. And so you don't get super hot black coffee. Regular coffee goes in and it stays chilled because the ice is already there.
That's
it's
amazing.
Very, very cool.
I have never seen that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were there in March, so it was cool. It was not hot.
Yeah, it was hot where I was. But we saw some really cool things, from geisha shows to, I went to a ryokan.
Yes, which is
really nice. Yeah,
traditional Japanese hotel.
Right?
Yeah.
With the mineral water bath and all that kind of stuff. It was just a great experience.
Yeah,
we really enjoyed it. But while I was away,
a lot of things happened.
A lot of things happened. Yes, the market went up, which was really nice. Generally, when I go away, the market goes down.
I know.
When you go away, the market goes up.
Yeah, well,
you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Bounces. But
I guess we switched off this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do have something new that was signed into law, the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, you might be hearing me say that and going, oh.
Not that.
Not that. Not talking about that. Well, as much as there was opposition and all this rhetoric that led up to, how can you do this, how can you do this? Now, once the bill is actually in people's hands, all 900 pages of it, and you look through it and you say, wait a second, how does this one big, beautiful bill impact me? And it's pretty interesting how it does impact so many people on a positive level.
Exactly. And, I think that a lot of what we've seen in the news are the negative aspects of this bill. However, for our clients in particular, but anyone over age 65 and older, there is a very positive development in this book.
Yeah, so one of the things that you heard about Trump talking about the no tax on tips thing, which went through. That's pretty easy to describe. Basically, if you work in the service industry and you're getting a server's wage, not $15 an hour at Dunkin' Donuts and they have a tip cup out. No, not those. But those that work in the restaurant business that might make $6 an hour, because that's server's wage plus tips. The first $25,000 of tips is free of tax. It's a deduction that you'll be able to deduct from against
which is
tip
amazing.
Income. Really great
honestly,
deal.
Yeah.
But the thing that a lot of people talked about was this. You heard about no tax on Social Security. And I think
there was some misleading communications on the no tax on Social Security as well.
So we thought we'd take some time and try to explain that to you, what this really, really means.
Right.
So, Marion, you want to give some perspective?
Absolutely. So first of all, you do not need to be collecting Social Security in order to receive this benefit. And what this benefit is, it's a deduction of $6,000 for anyone age 65 and older. And each person. So if it's a couple, you get a $12,000 deduction.
Now, remember, Marion, you just said over 65 years old.
Yes.
We have several clients who are 65, 67, 69, who are still not collecting Social Security.
And it makes no difference.
None whatsoever.
The criteria for collecting or for receiving this benefit is that you are age 65 or older. And in all honesty, right now, if you're just retiring, or if you are just 65, you have not yet reached your full retirement age for Social Security.
That's right.
So you are likely not collecting. That doesn't happen until you're 67 for those who are 65 today.
But you can take Social Security as early as 62.
Right.
You can choose to. But the point is that age 65 is what it's all about, not are you collecting Social Security as a qualifier.
They've promoted it as a benefit because if you get this deduction and you are collecting Social Security, it's something like 88% of people who are collecting Social Security, they will no longer owe tax on their Social Security. But that doesn't mean that everybody won't owe tax on Social Security.
Because there is another qualifier here.
That's correct. Always.
Despite being over age 65, your modified adjusted gross income. So think about that is if you look at page 1 of your 1040 of your federal tax return, look at the number at the very bottom of the page, lower right-hand corner. That is generally your modified adjusted gross income. You look at that number. If that number is above $150,000,
or $75,000 for an individual.
Thank you. The $6,000 benefit per person can phase out between 150,000 and 250,000.
Correct.
Meaning that if your modified adjusted gross income is above 250, you will not be able to use any of the $6,000 deduction per person.
That's correct. And there's one other qualifier, and that is this benefit is for 4 years only.
That's right.
It goes through 2028. So that's it. Whether or not they extend it is another question. But as of right now, this is a 4-year benefit, and for many people, and it does not just offset Social Security.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider as you look at this is that you might think to yourself, oh, we're just middle income, or we're middle America. Well, I want you to put this into perspective. You know, we talked about this $150,000 threshold. Did you know that 90% of households in America have a modified adjusted gross income of $150,000 and less? So if that number is above 150, if your number is above 150, welcome to the top 10% of income earners in America.
That's it. But from what I understand, 24 million people collecting Social Security are in that 10%.
Absolutely.
So it's not as if, so many people think, oh, well, I just won't pay tax on my Social Security. Well, if you're at 24 million is not an insignificant number of people age 65 and older.
Yeah, and so so there are a lot of tax opportunities. Of course, look, there's the no tax on tips. There's this extra benefit for those over 65. There's a lot of different tax factors that have been entered into this one big beautiful bill. And if you don't have the resource available to you to run a tax analysis of your income, you may be missing out on some very big opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because remember, if you could get your income below certain income thresholds in a given year, you could get better tax benefits. So, many of our clients who are over 73, 74, they take a minimum distribution from their IRA. And of course, you have to take the minimum distribution. But sometimes they take a little bit more from their IRA. But maybe they don't need to. Maybe they could take it from somewhere else and reduce their taxable income so that they could qualify for more of these benefits.
Absolutely.
Our tax planning software allows us to do some of that analysis for you, and we have time. This is July now. It's going to be retroactive to January, of course, for the year 2025, but you have a pretty good opportunity over the next 6 months to rethink how you want to draw money to support your life in retirement. And if we can help you, take your information, look at your tax return, look at how you're spending money right now, and try to give you some guidance so you could take more advantage of some of these benefits in this one big beautiful bill. We'd be happy to do that. That's what we do here at Freedman Financial.
Absolutely. And there's another interesting new benefit, and that is you can deduct some of, again, for certain people in certain tax brackets, you can deduct up to $10,000 in interest on car loans. So again, this applies to some people in certain tax brackets, and it could be a benefit as well. So you want to be able to, take advantage of the benefits when they are available to you. And again, as Marc said, there are times when you can adjust where you get income from and keep that income at a low level.
Right, and the other thing is this, what they call the SALT tax.
Yes,
SALT tax,
that's
state
right.
and local tax. So you used to be limited to being able to only deduct $10,000 of the taxes that you paid to state and local taxes on your federal tax return.
And I don't know, for many people who live in our area on the North Shore of Boston, your tax bill on your property taxes are probably that,
more than
if
that
not
anyways,
more, yeah.
right? So now you're allowed to deduct upwards of $40,000.
Right. Again, for certain income levels.
Yeah, and so these are huge benefits that are being made available. You need to understand how this is going to change. And frankly, that's what we call financial advice in a language you can understand. If now is the time for you to get serious about your financial planning and investment management needs, I hope you'll give us a call. Phone number here is 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. or you can visit us on the web, get information about our firm. You can schedule an initial consultation. You can get our newsletter, all sorts of things. You go to our website, freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman.
2 E's and a D.
Financial.com, and go to the bottom of any page on our website, put in your name and your email address, and you will get our free weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday at 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And it'll also include information about this one big beautiful bill.
Right.
And if you sign up, you'll also get some you'll also see the invitation to our webinar next week.
Oh, yes,
you'll be able to join us where we're talking about that as well.
That's right.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. Stay cool. I know it's hot out there. And we'll be back again next week with more financial advice in a language you can understand. You've been watching Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Enjoy. Bye-bye.
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.